Hey, what's up guys, Henry Neil here. Today we'll be taking a look at the Infinix Note 7 versus the Samsung Galaxy M11. Both entry-level to mid-range smartphones and both sporting very similar specifications. But are these phones worth it, and which one really should you go for? Coming up in this video. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell icon to be notified when I post new videos like this one. Now, both of these phones were released in May of this year here in Nigeria, and both of these phones come in at very similar price point. The Infinix Note 7 Lite comes in at 67,500 naira, while the Galaxy M11 comes in at 62,200 naira. Although there's a variant for the Infinix Note 7 that comes in at 89,000 naira. That's the 128GB, 6GB variant of this phone, which is the one I'm using here. But I'm comparing both of these phones because they're really very similar in terms of specifications and in terms of look and feel. So first off, let's take a look at the build quality on both of these devices. In terms of feel in hand, the Samsung Galaxy M11 here feels much more compact and much more rigid in hand. Has a very reassuring feel in hand. So anybody that picks this phone up will feel safer using it on a day-to-day basis. That's not to say that the Note 7 doesn't have a good build. It does, but this just feels more reassuring in the hand. In terms of design language, both of them spot very similar front design. They have a punch hole to the top right of their displays, but the back here is very different. And for design language on the back of the phones here, I would give it to the Infinix Note 7. But both phones are great. This feels more reassuring, very solid build quality, but this has a better design. Both phones sport a 720p screen. The M11 here sporting a 6.4-inch display. It's a PLS TFT display here, while the Infinix Note 7 here sports an IPS LCD panel coming at 6.95 inches. The Infinix Note 7 here is capped at 258 ppi, while the Galaxy M11 is capped at 268 ppi. Now, in terms of the look of both of these displays, they actually look very decent for 720p screens, and I'm particularly even impressed with the Infinix Note 7, saying that it's a 6.95-inch display and 720p, but it actually looks good. I said this in my last review. If it were not true, I wouldn't say it. The Samsung M11, however, has a TFT PLS display and also look good. I said the color accuracy on this display is one of the best I've seen so far, and I maintain it. The color accuracy here is just absolutely gorgeous. Now let's take a look at the video playback on both of these phones to see how both of them look. Alright, so this is what the displays on both of these phones look like, and as you can see, the color representation on the Samsung here is just incredible. They're very similar, but if I was to pick one out of the both of them, I would actually pick the Samsung display. I like the color accuracy on this thing. I mean, the color is just really brilliant on the Samsung. Let's hear what the speakers sound like on both of these displays. So this is for this is the Note 7. So the volume on the Infinix Note 7 sounds much louder, but isn't as bass rich as what you have on the Samsung M11. There's something about the speaker on the Samsung M11. It just sounds a bit more bass rich than what you have on the Infinix Note 7. So in terms of software, we have OneUI on the Samsung Galaxy M11 and we have XOS 6.0 on the Infinix Note 7. Both softwares are quite good. I'm pretty much impressed with both of them. I don't see any issues with both of them, so you should be totally fine with anyone that you choose to go with. Now, taking a look at the cameras on both phones, we have a triple camera setup on the Samsung, while we have a quad camera setup on the Infinix. The Infinix comes with a 48 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel macro, 2 megapixel depth sensing, and a 2 megapixel dedicated video camera, while the Samsung comes with a 13 megapixel main wide angle camera, a 5 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera. In terms of the front facing camera, we have a 16 megapixel on the Infinix, while we have an 8 megapixel on the Samsung. So in terms of pictures on those phones, the resolution count on the Infinix Note 7 gives it an edge over the Samsung Galaxy M11, and that's to be expected. You've got a 16 megapixel front facing camera on this one, and you've got an 8 megapixel front facing camera on the Samsung. You've got a 48 megapixel main camera on the Infinix, and you've got a 13 megapixel main camera on the Samsung. But that's not to say that the Samsung doesn't take good pictures. The Samsung also takes good pictures, and as you can see from the screen here, both pictures have different color calibrations. The Infinix is more on the saturated side, while the Samsung is more on the cooler side of things. So camera wise on both of this phone, I would give the Infinix an edge because of the higher resolution of these cameras on the Infinix. But if you're looking for a smartphone that takes decent pictures with a 13 megapixel main rear camera and an 8 megapixel front facing camera, this Samsung M11 also performs decently. So having taken a look at both of these devices, I must say that I'm pretty much impressed with both of these devices, and it's a very difficult thing to pick one out of these two devices. They're both really good, they have great build quality, they feel solid in hand, they have the same battery life, and overall they just perform really similarly. So which one comes out top on both of them? Well, I like both phones. I feel like they perform decently well. The screen color accuracy on the Samsung here is absolutely incredible, and you have very clean audio on this device, while the design and cameras on the Infinix Note 7 are impressive. I think both of these phones are worth it. The Infinix Note 7 has 3 variants, but if you're going to compare it with the Samsung M11, we'll be taking a look at the Infinix Note 7 Lite, which has only 3 cameras as against 4 cameras on the Infinix Note 7, and has 64 gigabytes of internal storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM. That phone goes for 67,500, while the Samsung goes for 62,200 naira. So really, if you're looking at everything you're getting in both of these phones, both phones are really very much on par. It's a very hard thing right now for me to say one is better over the other, but if you're looking for specifics, say camera and build quality or longevity, I'll give longevity to the Samsung, while I'll give the camera performance to the Infinix. Again, software wise is subjective, it's based on your own preference, but Infinix puts a lot of bloatware on their own devices, while Samsung doesn't. So the choice is yours. Well guys, if you have any questions on both of these phones, you can hit me down in the comment section of this video, and I'll get back to as much of them as I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next reviews. Peace.